All right, you guys, starting us off for Saturday strength training. We're gonna be doing some legs today. So you're going to need a band, right? A lighter band for this one. And I'm banding my inside leg. This is going to wake up our hips, but it's also going to wake up our adductors as well. So our groin or inner thigh, right? Help with some more hip stability. So my inner leg is getting banded. I'm gonna step out, pull that towards me. It's gonna wanna yank me back. Whoop, like that, right? My job, of course, is to keep it steady and to control that the best I can. Just like when we do our monster walks, we want to make sure we're not caving in to make that happen, right? Our knees need to be always like screwed in and always on the outside of that big toe on both legs, okay? So that's going to be 3 sets of 12 reps, right? I'll just turn around and then I just do the same thing on this side, okay? So then in between that, as a superset for our warm-up, we are going to do monster walks. All right, you can band it around the ankle, around the knee, that's fine. There's a lot of different ways we've done monster walks where you go lateral, right? Or you're going forward, you know, at some sort of diagonal. Whichever option you do, I'm always gonna make sure that my knees are on the outside of my big toe. So whether I'm backwards and forward, right? We're not here, or I'm lateral. We're not looking like that either. All right, again, this is gonna be 3 sets of 12 reps, and that's gonna be per leg as well. Starting off with our strength training, we're gonna be doing safety bar squats, okay? There's 2 bars like this on the strength training side. So now this might be new for some of you, okay? You're gonna set it up just like you would for a squat, your height and everything. And then grabbing onto these handles, you're gonna make sure that this pad is as close as possible to the back of your neck for this one, okay? So don't have space in between. You're gonna make sure you get in there and the pad is touching your neck. So I've got these handles, right? I'm gonna pull those handles forward, come up and out. I'm just gonna treat it like a regular squat, okay? I gotta play around with my elbows, right? I can't make sure they stay down because then they're gonna touch. They're gonna be out and about a little bit, and I'm pulling this forward the entire time as well. I don't want my elbows too high up. I just want them enough to where they're not gonna be touching my legs for this one. All right, and that is gonna be 4 sets of 5 reps for your safety bar squats. And then something else to add to this, these weigh 65 pounds, okay? So if you need to warm up, if 65 pounds feels heavy for you to start with, you can grab a lighter barbell, warm up with that, and then build into this if that's something that you need, okay? In between this is a superset, okay? You're gonna go banded deadlifts with your dumbbells or kettlebells, that's fine. So I'm gonna get in the band. I'm banding it behind me about hip height, wherever my hip crease is, so when I fold over, it's not in the way, right? If it was too high, I'd have to fold over at my belly button, or too low, I'm not getting the resistance that I'm looking for. I want it to be right at the hip, so I can bend over freely, no problem. I just need a little bit of tension. I don't need to be in a position where it's constantly yanking me back. Just enough where I have to push into the band, keeping my core locked in, and just focusing on finishing the deadlift as I come through. Just gonna at least go below my knee. All right, if you come watch me from the side, I wanna show you what my core is gonna look like, all right? What a lot of us do is we might arch the back immediately, right? You see how my pelvis changed from straight or core nice and tight, all right? Into now here. See how that changed for people? So they'll get it only really at the top. I don't want you to come out of that neutral position with the spine. All right, or some people tuck too much and then now it looks like this. what you can do is you can arch your back, tilt your pelvis a few times, and then you're finding the middle. And that middle, you should feel like your core is engaged a little bit more and your glutes would be squeezed a little bit more. And I'm focusing on keeping that position the whole way through. All right, will be a little difficult for you to hold this position because for some of us it's new. If you're thinking, I hinge over all the time, it's definitely different when one, you're hinging over with the band, and two, you probably weren't hinging over correctly when it comes to like really finding the core or making the rib cage work with the pelvis in through here, okay? So we got to make sure we're not, oh, shoulders back, and then we lose this. Or we say core tight, and then we hunch over. We have to find that middle as we're focusing on doing all these movements. And this is going to be 4 sets of 15 reps, and you're going to be supersetting it with your safety bar squats. Just a few more things I wanted to go over with our banded deadlifts. So what a lot of people think is pushing into the band is like I'm going to arch my back to push into the band. We've lost our core. You're pushing through the band by almost, I would say maybe tilting the pelvis a little bit more, if that kind of makes sense. You're not pushing into it here, because then my hips are not, actually my hips move backwards. If I want my hips to push into the band, I'm keeping that neutral, and then that's what's pushing into the band. Not, like I said, some people think the band needs to be up here, and then they're arching their back and pushing their belly button in. No. It's going to go right on your hip bones. Like I said, neutral or almost a slight tuck at the top, and that's what you're pushing into and just over-exaggerating that as you're finishing off the extension and your deadlift. All right, you guys, to finish off our legs for the day, we're going to do some single leg hamstring curls and some leg extensions, all right? So now when I get in here, I want to make sure that this bolster is going to be roughly kind of at the bottom of my ankle, above my sneaker, somewhere right around through here, okay? So shorter person, taller person, I would do that through here, all right? And then what determines that actually is when I get myself situated in here, I want that pad right above my knees. All right, so pretty much in this chunk right in through here. So then once I'm in here, that would determine, do I need to move that bolster up and down, okay? Both legs are going to go underneath here, even though it's single leg. And then let's make sure you can see my core. I want to make sure you guys are keeping those hips in the same position. Actually, we just practiced with those banded deadlifts there, okay? All right, so for single leg, all right, notice nothing through here is moving. I have my neutral. All right, what a lot of people are going to end up doing, and especially when it gets difficult, is they're going to arch their back to pull up. All right, and then they'll kind of set back in, and they'll arch the back again to pull up. So you're going to focus on keeping that neutral position and not letting that deviate. So if you're thinking, well, how much weight do I use? It's going to be 4 sets of 10 reps, and make the 10 reps challenging, but not to the point where you have to move this around in order to complete that movement, okay? So again, and then when I can get up and I can shake that off, and I just lay back down, I'm going to be doing the other leg for those reps as well. And then I thought there was one more thing to adjust, right? This right through here would be if I cannot extend my legs that much. Maybe I don't have that range of motion. I need to start more here rather than down there. So this will help somebody start a little higher if they can't start from down there for that position. And then right next to you, we've got leg extensions. Okay, our leg extension is going to work our quads now, all right? So some things I need to adjust back here, right? So I got the handle here for taller person, shorter person. That's going to move the back of my seat because I want to make sure this isn't stuffed tight right behind the knee. So I can move freely, I can bend my leg back there, and it's not right behind my kneecap where I don't have any room. So, I don't know, maybe you can get 2 fingers in, roughly right around there. And then the bolster is going to kind of sit right in through here, roughly just on the opposite side, kind of how that was, the hamstring curl was. So somewhere right around through here. Again, I would do that by adjusting this up, so shorter person, taller person. And then maybe I can't get my knees back there. My range of motion doesn't allow it. I'm just going to pull this pin out, and I can start with this more in front of me from here to here if I need to. But for me and for most people, we're going to be able to start down through here a little bit more. All right, this is going to be both legs at the same time. I can hold on here. I'm going to extend all the way up and come back down to where the plates are almost going to touch. So for some of us, we might not know where that range of motion is, so I might glance at that once in a while, or you'll get a feel for it as you do a few sets. And this one is also going to be 4 sets of 10 reps.